All right, so the debates. Man, where do we even begin with this? I mean, this fourth debate was a goddamn mess from start to finish. I almost fell asleep multiple times. I could barely concentrate. It was all over the place. So you'll forgive me if my notes are also all over the place. It was really hard to keep up with this nonsense. 12 candidates on one stage. I mean, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? I kind of miss the days of Hillary Clinton versus Bernie when it was just two people on the stage and they each got adequate time to speak and you could actually compare candidates. Anyway, I know most lefty channels, most progressive channels or pundits, they break down the candidates into winners and losers. And man, I mean, how can you even tell at this point? Of course, you can say that this candidate didn't do so well, this candidate did well, but let's just get into it. All right, so Joe Biden. Let's start with Biden. This is in no particular order, okay? Joe Biden, it wasn't his worst debate. There were no racist outbursts this time. There were no memory issues. Let's put it that way. It was okay-ish, okay? There were moments during the debate where he appeared to be in control, in command. You know, he was taking on Warren and Bernie at the same time. Like I said, he didn't do spectacularly well, but it was better than the previous moments that we had. It wasn't like when Kamala was, taking him down, son. That was a disaster. It was okay. However, the first question he got asked, one of the first ones that was directly posed to him by a moderator, was about his son, right? About the corruption. And it was basically like, yo, if you acknowledge that having your family sit on the board of another company while you're in office as president, then why was it okay when you were vice president? And he ignores the question immediately. And he did the same thing when he was yelling at that reporter. He's just like, focus on Trump. What? No, answer the question. You didn't answer the question. Why was it okay back then, but it's not going to be okay when you're president, as you said? And he didn't have an answer. That was pathetic. Like I said, it wasn't his worst performance. Biden is one of those people, it's kind of like Hillary, right? Where the more they talk, the worse they do, which is why his campaign's been trying to keep him out of the spotlight. So he didn't get enough time to incriminate himself. So maybe that was a good plus for him. Okay. Again, I'm not going to say if he's a winner or a loser. I don't care. I'm just going to go through my notes and you can decide for yourselves. Now, Buttigieg, God, I really hate this guy. He looks like a glorified weasel. What can I say? When he was sparring with Warren over healthcare, that was painful. Okay. That was really painful. And when he was talking about staying in Syria, that was also really painful. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Please stay out of the Middle East. Okay. Enough. Like, get the hell out of my country, man. You were an idiot and you shouldn't be meddling there. And he was taking this whole imperialist pose, which again, I don't understand how leftists can tolerate this. He's basically advocating for more war. Let's keep the military-industrial complex going. Dreadful. And there was also another point where he was bashing free college with this horse crap argument that if we have free college, then the sons and daughters of billionaires will also be able to go. And that's not fair. What? Dude, you have the most amount of billionaire donors on stage. You're in bed with billionaires and oligarchs, and now you're like against them and you're playing the hero of the proletariat. Yeah, sure. Okay. Just go away. You suck. You are horrible. He's really so smug and he thinks he knows better than everyone, and he keeps trying to get on his high horse and be like, oh, I'm above the fray and I'm not from Washington. I'm from like a small town and people are tired of Washington and bureaucracy and I'm above that. No, you're not. You're even worse. Okay. Just no. You are a continuation of that. Okay. You are taking money from the rich. You're just going to serve the rich. You are a disgrace to everything that the progressive movement stands for and what the Democratic Party used to stand for. And this whole thing with Medicare for all, who want it? Excuse me, I forgot. That was dreadful. That was dreadful. So that's all I have to say about this weasel. Cory Booker. Okay. I feel like Cory Booker just strolled onto the debate stage like he didn't even know that they were having a debate. Every time he was asked a question or it was his turn to speak, he kept defaulting to Trump and pivoting away. Like, we were talking about healthcare. Why are you speaking about Trump? And he does this every single debate. It's unbelievable. Every single time he's asked the question, Trump, Trump, Trump. And sometimes he'll do the whole thing like, oh, we shouldn't be arguing. We should all be buddies, man. Let me take Ted Cruz to dinner. Y'all can come too. What? Motherfucker, you're in the primary. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Just answer the question. Speak on the substance, man. It was a joke. That's all I wrote down about Booker. He just keeps changing the subject. That's it. It was weak. That was a weak performance, man. That was really weak. Okay, now Tulsi. I got a lot to say about Tulsi. So, first of all, I love that monologue where she called out CNN and the New York Times. Go Tulsi. Okay, she shitted on him. All right, that was dope. I really enjoyed that, and it was well warranted. You know, if you see what CNN put out, what the New York Times put out, this smear job, this article that came out a few days ago where they were calling her an Assad apologist and a Russian agent and the whole usual Tulsi smears, that was disgraceful. And then CNN, one of their pundits, literally said on the air that she's a Russian plant. I mean, that's disgraceful. It's really disgraceful. Like, this woman is serving in Congress. She's a veteran, 2 tours. She's still serving in the National Guard. She's a major. I can't remember which committee she's on in the House, but she has very high security clearance. She has been vetted over and over, man. This woman is a million times more patriotic than 3/4 of the people in the House and the Senate, and especially this garbage CNN pundit. Okay, so how dare you smear her and say that she's a Russian plant? How dare you? She has more integrity and patriotism than you will have in your entire life. So that was garbage. You see how they attack people when you go against the elites and the war machine? This is what they do. They will literally smear a congresswoman veteran who has one of the highest security clearances, that you can get, who's been vetted, who is a true patriot, who loves her country. They'll smear her. They don't care. That was disgraceful. So I'm glad that Tulsi called them out. I'm really glad that she did, because, I was disgusted when I saw that. I can't imagine what she was feeling. And you guys remember, I said yesterday in my debate predictions that I hope Tulsi does, another hit job like she did on Kamala. I was really hoping she would. And I think she tried to do one on Warren, but they cut her off. Okay, they cut her off and immediately went to commercials. They're getting smart. Well, I'll give them that. The moderators and the mainstream media, they're picking up. They know that they have to watch out for Tulsi because she's dangerous and she's going to take down their establishment favorite right now. So, they conveniently cut right to commercials and muted her. Yeah, that's how they do, man. That's how they do. By the way, when Tulsi was sparring with Buttigieg on Syria and, telling him that basically all you want and all you're advocating for is more regime change wars and more endless occupations in the Middle East. And she rightfully said that Al-Qaeda and al-Nusra in Syria have been funded with U.S. taxpayer dollars. So why are you advocating for a continuation of that? And notice how no one said anything, because she's talking sense, because she's speaking the truth. No one had a rebuttal to that. Tulsi is saying the truth. She's spitting facts, man. So Pete Buttigieg can go to hell. Seriously, really, we need another smug imperialist advocate for war? Go to hell. Seriously. And stay the hell out of my country. I think Tulsi was solid. The moments that they allowed her to speak, she was solid. But honestly, everyone on that stage, when it came to foreign policy and especially Syria, it was dreadful. It was really bad. I'll get into them individually in a second, but everyone on that stage, with the exception of Tulsi, was talking complete garbage, and it was embarrassing. So anyway, Klobuchar, why did this chick get so much time? She's polling at like 1%. Who wants to listen to her? She got double the time, I think, of what Andrew Yang got, who is polling way better than her and has way more interesting things to say. Why did they give her so much time? She was never interrupted, just given the mic, just keep talking bull crap. And bore us to death. Look, man, I can't wait for her to drop out. She annoys me so much. What a useless candidate. I don't have anything else to say. She was just completely boring. Now, Elizabeth Warren. When it comes to Warren, okay, so first thing that I noticed, man, when she was talking about Syria, she was literally reading notes. I think she had talking points printed out. She was just reading them off one by one. It was ridiculous. She kept looking down and, reading off of a sheet. I don't know if she had just written them down, but there was so many. It was really weird. Like, do you not know what you're talking about? You're kind of running to be president. I mean, you should have been educated on this subject. I don't know. Oh, that was cringy. Okay. But, when she came to talk about monopolies, that was a strong point of hers during the debate. That was a strong moment. I felt that it was very good. And, just in general, whenever someone was attacking her, she did pretty well, with the exception of when she was talking about Medicare for all with Buttigieg. He was trying to do the whole gotcha moment, like, oh, you're going to raise taxes, aren't you? And you're not being honest. You're hiding it. See, you're not honest. And she was really bad at thwarting that off. She was terrible. Why wouldn't you just come out and say it? I mean, either she doesn't really plan on doing Medicare for all, which I think is the consensus that we've all arrived to, which is why she won't say that she's going to raise taxes, because she ain't doing it. Or she's really, really doing a disservice to Medicare for all because she's so bad at explaining this. And I mean, yes, she is. It's not an or. It's a fact. She's making the whole thing look bad. Bernie is telling you the facts. He's like, yeah, I'm going to raise your taxes, but I'm going to take away all your premiums and copays and deductibles. So actually, I'm saving you money. Bam, that's all I have to say. But Warren can't do that. And I don't understand why. She's making Medicare for all look bad when she does that and giving ammunition to Buttigieg and the moderators and all the skeptics. Why? Tell them the facts. Like I just said, like Bernie's saying. So that wasn't good. And everything she said about billionaires, about the wealth tax, this was good. This is one of her strong points again. And I feel like she explained it well, which brings me to my next point about Yang. Now, Yang, overall, he did pretty well, okay? But just on the subject of wealth tax and monopolies, he seemed really against those ideas, okay? And he was sparring for a few seconds with Warren about that and pushing back, and I don't understand why. Is this because he's like an entrepreneur and a businessman? His mentality is like, nope, I don't like the antitrust laws, and we shouldn't break up monopolies. I don't want a wealth tax. I want to keep my money. It's not a good look, man. The thing with Yang is that, yes, the UBI is a great idea. I support it. It's good. We need UBI. But I don't understand why he doesn't support a minimum wage. Like, what would you lose by supporting a minimum wage or a wealth tax or the fact that we have to break up monopolies? What do you lose? Just go all the way, man. You would make your whole platform better. But overall, his debate performance, I think, was pretty solid. He actually... how we talk about Bernie shifting the whole party and that now they talk about subjects that Bernie's been pushing for, the minimum wage, Medicare for all, climate change. Yang accomplished that tonight with his UBI. Yang shifted the conversation tonight. He shifted the debate to his signature issue, which is UBI. And that's good. Okay, so I think he definitely did well tonight. And yeah, that was very good that he had a strong performance. Every time he spoke, I felt that this was his best performance so far, Yeah, so that's all I have to say. I think it was good. And about Tom Steyer, man, this guy looked so fake and plastic. And he made this utterly ridiculous argument that because he's a businessman and Trump is a businessman, he can beat Trump. He was so disingenuous, just trying to pretend that he's anti-establishment and that oh yeah, I agree with Bernie. I'm a selfless billionaire. I'm not like the other billionaires, my money fell out of the sky and I'm not corrupt and I care about workers. And well, why don't you just get behind Bernie Sanders then if you agree with him? Nah, this guy, no. Dude, he's part of the oligarchy. He's not genuine. The way that he even got onto the stage is dubious. The way he bought his way onto the debate stage. No. Look, man, there's already too many people on the stage. We don't need you on top of it. Just go, man. I have nothing else to say. Now, Kamala Harris. Again, what I was saying before about foreign policy, man, that everyone was terrible on this. Warren was reading off her notes. Kamala Harris was saying that what Trump did by pulling out of Syria benefits ISIS and Assad. What Which one is it? You can't have both, you idiot. I mean, this shows that she really knows nothing about the conflict. It's unbelievable. She tried to go after Warren, saying that we should close down Trump's Twitter account, and it backfired really badly. I mean, she ended up looking like a complete idiot. Warren dominated her and put her back in her place. She really did. You know, she taught her a lesson and made her shut her mouth. That was a weak performance. I really like Kamala's outfit, though. I gotta say, that was a dope outfit. And while we're on the topic of outfits, Tulsi came in with the white again, right? Like Tupac up in this bitch. I love that. That was really dope. She had the white on the last time she was on the debate stage too. That was really nice. Okay, I know we're not here to talk about the outfits, but I just needed to say that. When it comes to Bernie, I think overall Bernie did great. It wasn't the knockout performance that I'd hoped for, but he had some great moments. Whenever Bernie was able to speak, he did good. But I think he should have been a bit more aggressive. He shouldn't have let the moderators cut him off as much as they did. I mean, they barely let him speak, man. This is the guy who's raised the most donations. He is a front runner. Amy Klobuchar and these nerds shouldn't be anywhere near Bernie Sanders in terms of speaking time. So the fact that they didn't even let him speak and they interrupted him every single time he tried to speak, man, they never stop with their bias. You know, they let Klobuchar finish to the end. They let Joe Biden finish to the end. Warren even. But, you know, Bernie Sanders, no, we're going to cut him off. Thank you, Senator. Thank you. Next candidate who has nothing of value to say. One moment that stood out to me is when he was marking himself from the rest of the candidates. And he was like, yo, as Democrats, you need to have the guts to stand up to the pharmaceutical industry and just take a stance. You know, either you're with the corporations or you're with the people. And that was great because he didn't have to name Biden. He didn't have to name Warren. He didn't have to name any of them. He was just marking himself from the rest of the candidates. Creating that contrast. Bernie, you need to do this more often. You need to keep creating contrast between you and the others because you are better than the others and you are different. And the other great moment that Bernie had was when he went after Biden. That was great. Okay, that was really good. He pointed out that Biden voted for the Iraq War, for NAFTA, and all of Biden's political blunders. It's good because Bernie doesn't do that usually, and he needs to do it more often. You know, he always starts out with Joe Biden is a friend of mine. All right, Bernie, we get it. We know you're all friends. It's one big happy family, but you need to throw him under the bus. Take the gloves off. All right, we're done with his corporate centrist ass. Cancel him, Bernie. Just get rid of him. End this man's whole career. You can do it. You can do it, Bernie. You have the moral high ground. You have the better record. You are the better candidate. This is a fact. So I know that Bernie wants to play nice. I know that Bernie is someone with a good heart, but he cannot afford to be sympathetic towards a group of piranhas, okay? Because these guys are cold-blooded. They don't care, man. They don't play nice. You know, sometimes it makes me feel like Bernie's naive. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, because he has a good heart, he's too nice sometimes, you know, when he needs to be vicious. Because you're the one who has the moral high ground. You didn't vote for the Iraq War and all these disastrous policies that these other candidates have supported in the past. I hope Bernie keeps it up, but he needs to go harder. Maybe by the time we're down to 3 candidates, he'll be all right. And that's when it'll count even more. So yeah, Bernie was definitely up there with the people who performed the best tonight. Definitely, for sure. So good job, Bernie, but please go harder next time. Please. I'm glad, though, that his voice wasn't as sore as last time. Because, man, that was, I mean, even for me, and I love Bernie, and I don't care about optics, it was a bit too much. I'm glad that he appeared well-rested, his voice was fine, and he was strong, he was present, he was vocal, but he should have been harder, man. Like I said, man, this whole debate was a shit show, and I hate it. And I can't wait till it's down to like 2 or 3 candidates. Then Bernie is really going to shine. Right now, we got too much noise in this picture and it needs to stop. Conclusion. This whole debate was a giant mess. Yes, I forgot Castro. Who cares? Man, seriously, I don't feel that these debates even warrant that much attention because they've turned them into a sporting event and a shouting match. And it's just completely unproductive. And it makes a mockery of the political process and these issues, serious issues, they're not being given what they're due. So it was a giant mess, man. This was absolutely atrocious. I know they raised the debate requirements for November. I wish they'd raised them even more, to be honest, because, you know, we need to get less candidates on the stage one way or another. So I hope more people drop out until November. Even if you had 6 people on stage, dude, this is too much. It's really too much. We need it to go down to 3 or 2. Okay, because that is when you are really going to be able to compare the candidates on their issues. And you're going to be able to make a choice, because what's happening right now is that you have a steak like Bernie Sanders, but on top of the steak and next to it is a bunch of mustard and ketchup, and it's ruining the whole thing, and you're not able to appreciate the steak. All right, Bernie Sanders is not being able to get his message across. People are not able to see him for what he is, which is a champion for working people in the middle class, because you have all these other idiots standing next to him, taking up the time, making noise, talking about irrelevant things. Cory Booker pivoting to Trump every 2 seconds. I mean, it's a mess. It is a mess. These people should have never ran. I keep saying this. Like, I think they're all in this race because they thought that they could mimic Bernie's thunder in 2016. They think that they can just get into the race and they're automatically going to be having like 50% in the polls and tons of donations and a huge grassroots movement and also these support from the establishment. No. First of all, you can't have both. All y'all are establishment hacks, so stay with your establishment. The only true champion of middle class, working class people and grassroots movements is Bernie Sanders. So stay in your goddamn lane and let Bernie do his thing. Okay? All these idiots need to drop out. Enough is enough. And when we're going to have Bernie, Warren, Biden, we're going to be able to have a much more constructive debate and really compare the candidates on their issues. I mean, we have already over and over, but I'm saying in terms of being able to compare them on live television, on national television, people, the general population, they will be able to see things more clearly and differentiate the candidates, because right now there's a whole lot of noise going on and it's terrible. Kamala, Castro, Booker, Buttigieg, O'Rourke, Klobuchar, they all need to drop out, man. Please. I mean, even if you had like Tulsi, Yang, Biden, Warren, and Bernie, that would be awesome, right? I mean, it's 5 people. It's still a lot, but each one of them is unique and they all have something interesting to bring to the table, except Biden and Warren. But you see what I'm saying? That would be much better. We'll see what happens. And that debate was awful. God, what a torture. I mean, that was the worst one to watch so far, if you ask me. I really hated it. And normally I look forward to these debates, but this one was not good. Reminds me of the Republican debates in 2016. You also had like 17 people on a stage. That's my take, man. Winners and losers, I'll let you decide. And please let me know what you thought of the whole debate. Please let me know in the comments. All right.